So welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. So good to have you all here. Some new faces. Cedric, welcome. Good to have you. Victor, a new face. Welcome, Victor. And Chris, not a new face. And there's Faith, another familiar Faith. So this is a meeting, so to say, that there's just what's happening. Just this. This meeting is not about getting anywhere, because there is no there. There's just this. And it's never not been this. That's the funny thing. It's always just been this. However it looked, whatever the story, no matter the experience. Pleasant or unpleasant. Fear, heart-stopping fear, scared to death, is as much this as chill, relaxed, no worries. Oh yeah, worries are this, but there's no worrier. Feelings are this, but there's no one there to have the feelings already. There's just the feeling as it is. And not liking the feeling, wishing it would go away, is this too. Feeling in a shitty mood and trying to do something to get out of the feeling of a shitty mood is this already. So there's nothing to understand here. There's nothing to get here, but there can be a resonance or a vibe. Something about all is this speaks to you, so to say, resonates, like music. When you hear your favorite band or your favorite song, you just like it. You just love it. You don't know why. It doesn't need a reason. I will tell you, though, that as you can see by the turnout here, it does not resonate with very many. Because there's no steps. Um, You know, so to say, we're so used to doing something to get something, right? If I want water, I got to get up and go in the kitchen. I have to get it. So it's logical that there seems to be like a path to this. Should be. How could I get this? How could I understand this? But it's just always what's happening. So trying to understand it is already it. So you really can't go wrong. Just what's happening is just what's happening. You may not like it. You may love it. And there is knowing. There is knowing. Sometimes there can be talk of, I don't know anything, but there is knowing. So to say you knew the meeting was at 6 o'clock tonight, Pacific time, but there's just no knower of that. So yeah, there's feeling shitty. Sure. There's just no one that knows that. There's just feeling shitty. And trying to get out of that not feeling good or feeling depressed is this as well. And it can flip on a dime. 1 minute you're not feeling good, you feel separate, you feel cut off, you feel alone, feel sorry for yourself. And then just boom. Oh, okay, everything's okay. It's not a, whew, I was tripping there. So this this can just shift like the wind, but nobody's doing it. And as a me, I'm always trying to control as much as I can. And there just isn't, I mean, there's no separation. So there's nothing separate that can control anything. There's the appearance of control. Yeah. So there's the appearance of separation. There's the appearance of differences. Yeah. But they're all this because there's nothing else but this. And even not believing that or, what a bunch of bullshit that is. Yeah, that's it too. What can I tell you? So there's already no one to escape from the moment, but it can feel that way. It can feel like this moment is insufficient, that it's lacking, that it's boring. It's not giving me the fulfillment I want. So I seek it. Yeah, seeking just happens. Nobody's doing it. Seeking is just seeking. Running is just running. Blowing your nose is just blowing your nose. Getting a pain in the neck is just getting a pain in the neck. Wanting a relationship is just wanting a relationship. Wanting to be loved is just wanting to be loved. So this is an open meeting. Everybody's invited to participate and share. If you have a comment or question, please feel free to unmute and jump in. Here in Nkosi's, when he showed up about 3 years ago, and the magic word heard here was already, already. There's no separate you already, even if it feels like it. That's this feeling like a separate me. So innocent. Nobody doing it. Nobody cannot do it. But it's fine, me or no me. What's the big deal? I made a Yelp review for my urologist today. I didn't need a me for that. My doctor asked me to leave him a Yelp review. I said, no problem, you help me out. Guy found a stone in my bladder. That was why I couldn't pee. And I thought it was because of the prostate cancer and the 45 rounds of radiation. No, it was that I was walking around with a pea-sized um, calcium little ball in the bladder. And he walks in the room with the long scope and says, I'm going to try and save you a surgery. And he puts the scope, you know where. And yeah, it didn't feel great, but I gotta tell you, I was the happiest guy in that whole place when he pulled it out, and I said, my jaw dropped. I'm like, can I touch it? I hit it, it's hard as a rock. I'm like, God damn, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And I ran in there and I was peeing like when I was a kid again. And you don't appreciate a simple thing like being able to pee it until you can't. So you can see this meeting's already a little different than your average non-duality meeting. We talk about everything here. Nothing is off limits because all is this.
You know, I try, I'm trying to ask a question. And even before this meeting started, there was thoughts about, you know, what's most urgent question that I have, or, what's the highest question that I have that I could ask, or perhaps discover today. And as they come up, they satisfy themselves in the sense that I don't get a question, I don't get an answer, but more so the questions are dissolving. No need to ask them. Um, so I feel more like, you know, for the moment, simply listening to what you have to say and be open.
Beautiful. Love it. Yeah, the answer and the question are not two, and that doesn't make any sense. So that's why I often say this can't be figured out logically, which is what seeking and philosophy and all the hundreds and hundreds of books I read and studied and all the different religions, Vedanta, Buddhism, um, Course in Miracles, all of them. They're great. They're beautiful. But here, at a certain point, there was somehow it was seen that it wasn't going to be in a book. It wasn't going to be a story about it. It was going to be right here. However, right here looks. Mm, just to use an analogy, it's like the ocean is already at peace with the wave because the wave and the ocean are not two.
I have a question. So let's say the wave is an emotion, let's say anger or, sadness. In the moment of feeling the wave, one forgets about the ocean. I guess something inside says, hearing you say, you know, it's already this. Um, it seems almost like I have to go backwards, but even that eludes me in a sense. It's almost like anything that I can do, think of, is not it. And for a while, I felt that, maybe one day it'll be this powerful, magical experience. And powerful and magical experiences have come, and yet here am I. And I can't say that I know what I'm looking for, but I feel that I can't help but keep on looking.
Yeah, 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 I recognize that one. Yeah, it's just you're compelled to seek. But the funny thing is, you didn't you didn't create the seeking. You didn't make the seeking happen, did you? No.
I think the seeking found me somehow.
Well, Cedric, it's like, you could say the hunger in the tummy found you when it's time to
Yeah.
eat. So yeah, in a way you could say everything finds you. That's how you know how you feel a certain way. Is something informs you, right? A thought, a feeling, a mood. I don't like this guy. Yeah, something about, oh, I really like what he's saying. This is good stuff. You know what I'm saying? All that just arises innocently and naturally. What you don't have to do anything to make a thought show up. You don't have to do anything to make a feeling show up. They just come and go freely. And it's liking and not liking flows freely as well. So not liking a feeling or an emotion is as much this as the feeling and the emotion.
Is there ever a finish line?
That is a good question. Is there a finish line? Well, there would be if there was a starting line. There's already no one chasing. There's just the chasing, the feeling of chasing until that can go away as quickly as it came. Just one day, you can just go, yeah, I'd rather go watch a movie or than go to a non-duality meeting. It can just fall away just innocently. No one's doing it already. That's the me wants to know, well, okay, how can I stop doing? How can I just be? Well, there's already no one doing the me. There's just a feeling of meing, you could say. And that feeling of meing can also not be there. But who cares? Me or no me, I was able to write my Yelp review and post it. I didn't need a me for that. It just happened. Just sat down at the computer, started banging it out.
Hi, Michael. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Victor.
Hi. I just wanted to say I always feel super intense before coming to meetings like this. I
Yeah,
even went to a live thing today, to like this weekend for the first time, and like it was just a few minutes ago that I realized like I've heard this all like 1,000 times already, but it's just like this feeling intense. I always think I'm just doing something wrong. It's just it's just what's happening. It's great being here.
that's awesome. Who were you seeing live?
Kenneth Madden was in a city where I live.
Wait, you saw him live as in person or on Zoom?
Yeah, in person.
Oh, well, what did you think?
I mean, I saw him like I just met a lot of people like this just on YouTube this winter around December. He's pretty good. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, Victor, because here a few weeks ago there was talk of, well, is it better to see them in person, like a Kenneth Madden? Will you feel the energy or the shakti or whatever more, are your chances to get something better if you're there in person? Maybe you could tell us.
I don't know. I've been going to live things like Zoom things for close to 3 years now. And before that, it was already something that just like hit it up. I was just making out with a girl once, and then I was like, okay, I can feel what she's feeling, and like this whole thing, I just went to the internet, started Googling, and eventually determined that some I don't know, maybe Bardo or something, whatever. And I just started seeking, and then I found like these people that talk like this, and this was like the first time actually like being there in person, and uh, it's definitely like for me going here, it's kind of like remembering because there was already like a year between when this whole thing started and when I started meeting these people, and it's definitely it feels like helps you remember more. But it's just I don't really like Kenneth for me really was strong even live. I think I saw him once or twice just live on YouTube, just randomly get a notification, hey, he's live. Like let's go see him. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. So here, because already it doesn't matter whether it's live or on Zoom, really. It's already that you're already what you seek, so to say, but there's already nobody doing that seeking. It's just no separation. Like,
Hey Victor, where did you say you saw Kenneth?
In Munich.
In Munich. Okay. Yeah, I saw him 4 weeks ago here in the US in North Carolina.
mm,
Nice.
Spent a weekend with him. Yeah, it was a good time. Was there a lot of people at the meeting or
I was there only for a second day. I broke my arm on Friday and couldn't really do anything on
you
Saturday.
broke your arm?
But yeah, I broke my arm. I fell off a
oh,
Oh
bike.
wow.
Yeah, I can't really sleep right now since 3 a.m. at my place. So I thought, I would just hop in to see Michael's meeting. We have a holiday tomorrow, so I don't have to do anything. So that's pretty good.
oh.
I think it was like let me count. I don't know, like 10-ish, between 10 and 15, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's just not that popular. One of the kind of standard things that can happen when this message is first heard is to kind of go on to a little proselytizing to all your friends and family and people and try and tell them about non-duality. And it's almost like you got to go through that to see that it doesn't work. I mean, I remember my sister saying, "You're speaking Greek to me." It was like speaking Greek to her. She did not, because she wasn't seeking for this. You know, for her, it's monetary stuff. But seeking is seeking, whether you're seeking for a car or a relationship or money, better health, seek your car keys. Seeking is very natural. We do it all the time. And somehow in the spiritual genre, it's got blown out into this mystical, magical, far off, maybe if I'm lucky, this lifetime. No, it's already. And already feels like this. And often we're waiting for it to feel a certain way that will let us know that we're there. There's no there. It's this. Always this. No matter what's happening.
See, so I get stuck in, if it feels like this, then what I will do with that is, well, this is how it feels to me. Okay. And I know that's not what you're speaking of. So when you say it feels like this, so I'm looking like right now I'm in my living room and everybody's where they're at. And I'm my wife, I can see my wife. So it feels like this, and I'm having feelings, I'm looking around, whatever. Is it, is that what, is that this that you're talking about?
Exactly.
But, and it feels like this the way I feel.
Yes.
So if there's confusion here, or, because I'm still, as you know me, I'm looking for it. I'm looking for the big thing. I think like Victor was speaking about, or something. I want the real stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Oh boy. Okay. I'll keep listening.
You know, I was talking, thank you, Don.
Yeah.
Sandra and I were talking, we talk almost every day, we video messenger, and you know, it's just like at his meeting yesterday, which I just put up on my YouTube channel as well. It's just people just sharing honestly without judgment is so freeing. Just to be able to come to a meeting and say whatever the hell you want and not have anyone argue with you or debate you about it. It's something about it is attractive here. You know, it's a real gem and quite rare, I must say.
Yeah, I have to say there was something yesterday that seemed to happen when you just so innocently said that the confusion that I was expressing here was this too. Somehow that was, really began to resonate and yeah, that is the case. It's just this.
Yeah, and I related.
This, yeah.
I related to you, Chris, because I remember I was back in the day, there was a thing called LifeSpring, which is an offshoot of a thing called Est, which is before some of your times. But oh shoot, sorry, I forgot my thought. I was gonna make a point, but I forgot. Maybe it'll come back. What was it
But
that
yeah, I think
what was it that you were saying, Chris?
I just think it was so innocently overlooked, it seems, that this is everything, and it included everything. Yeah, even the confusion, even the suffering, even the me, even the sense that there was a me. Those two just seem to be happening here.
Yeah, beautiful.
Um,
Yeah.
it was yeah. So I mean, and yeah. I mean, it's not. It's pretty ordinary, but yeah, it's so simple, really.
Yeah, the confusion is it too. And as I said to you, that resonated here when you shared, because that was the experience here. And I remember what I was going to say. So at LifeSpring, one of the coaches said to me, I remember very clearly because I was standing, I don't remember what I was saying, and he said something to me. And then he said, I think you go to LifeSpring to get abused a little bit, but he says, and wipe that confused look off your face. And you know what? I was so grateful for that because he nailed it. I'm like, that is how I feel. I'm like constantly amazed and confused how people just go about their life in a normal way. Here, death was always, present, always cognizant of death, or always felt self-conscious and confused, Chris. So when you said it yesterday at Sanders' meeting, I'm like, yeah, I know confusion.
I know it all too well.
But yeah, when you said in confusion, or I said yesterday, and then you said, yeah, confusion is it too. Yeah, everything is it, no exception. And that can't be figured out, and it can't be known, and it can't be understood, and it can't be found, and it can't be put in your pocket. It can just resonate that it's everything, no matter what.
And so it resonates from nobody to nobody. It just resonates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like you could be walking by, on the beach and hear a radio playing a song, and it's one of your favorites. You just, oh, right? There's no, oh, I'm here, she's there, I'm hearing their music, no. It's just spontaneously. You hear the music, it's your favorite song. I've been going through there's a band called the Turtles back in the 60s, and as Dan knows, I've been, Happy Together was one of their big hits. And it's just such a joy, it's just the thing about being a me is there's always that judgment of comparing and feeling less than.
But that's this too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when you feel like you're a me, it feels like you're less than. It's owned. And really, that's kind of what wants to be said here is that nothing is owned by anyone. The feelings are not owned. The thoughts are not owned. The bodies are not owned.
It's funny how when there seems to be that contracted energy, the confusion returns and clarity seems to fade.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can
But
happen. It can happen, right, Chris? It can happen several times in an hour. You could be really clear, then really confused, then
yeah.
clarity can come back.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. All day today, though, it felt very clear. It was pretty obvious actually, until I jump on the meeting, and then.
Well, let me ask you this, Chris. So let's say you said when earlier today you felt really clear, right?
Most of the day, yeah, it was pretty obvious.
Okay.
Everything was just this.
And then suddenly it felt different. It felt like everything wasn't this, and what, there was separate, you felt separate, or
Yeah, I mean, it was even clear seeing as to why it would be that way. Yeah, but it's just there's just kind of an in and out. I mean, no one could convince me that anything was other than this, but there's just there's just contracted energy. And I guess it's not really happening to anyone, but it's just what's happening.
Yeah, and is it other than this? The contracted energy, is it other than this?
No.
No.
No, it is this already. Yeah. It's just how can it, how can it be anything other than this? This is all inclusive.
Hey, Leighton, you got your camera fixed. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, I went into terminal and did the voodoo. Sudo, I mean.
Glad to have you back on camera,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah. Glad to be here.
Michael, I'm just a bit interested to know, you were holding these meetings before Kosi came onto the scene. What motivated you? What was the motivation to hold the meetings in the first place?
Here, Faith, there was just a love for so-called non-duality. The idea that there was nothing, not two. That resonated here, but I still felt separate. So there was then that's why I say I understand the seeking, because then you're like, okay, well, I got to get to the space that that person is in so I can feel unlimited, so I can feel whole, or however I would imagine it feels. But it was only, the me began to like become less and less important here. There just can be a fall. Go ahead.
But you felt sort of, well, passionate enough or keen enough to hold the meetings, hold that space for people.
Yeah. And but eventually even the word non-duality and radical non-duality were both kicked to the curb here. I no longer, because it's not any label. It's not even non-dual or dual or radical. It's just whatever's happening. Call it what you will. Like, what does it matter what you call this moment? If you say it's good, does that change the moment? If you say it's bad, does that change the moment? The moment is as it is, and saying it's good is the moment. Saying it's bad, this moment sucks. That's this, and nothing else but this. So even as you go to speak, the words that are coming out of your mouth, you're not doing. I'm not doing. Nobody's doing these words.
So it's sort of been a gradual process with you, that initially when you started the meetings, you were very interested in non-dual stuff. And then when Kosi came on the scene, you felt something more drop away, that there was a less of a separate feeling. Is that what it was?
Yeah, well, somehow there was still the sense like, because it can sound like not having a me is better than having a me, right? It can sound
Yeah.
like that in the spiritual world. And so that innocently plays out of then, oh, I got to get rid of the me. But it turns out you could just to say that's already the me trying to get rid of itself.
Mm.
And so here, Faith, there was just a relaxing about whether suddenly it just sort of hit me, so to say. And that's even not true. It just fell away as far as, you know what? It doesn't matter me or no,
Mm.
because you're not doing either one. So
Mm.
if there's a me here, there's a me here. Oh boy. Well, there's a pear tree outside and there's a sun up there and there's a me here. Okay. Or there's just the sun and the pear tree and I don't really feel like a separate me. Okay. But it doesn't really change anything, right? The me is just a story that's going on in the head, so to say. It's a little internal dialogue that nobody else is privy to. It is. That internal dialogue is like the bird chirping. Nobody's doing the bird chirps and no one's doing the internal dialogue. So there is knowing. You could know your address. You can know what kind of car you have so you don't lose it when you go out shopping. There is knowledge, but there's just no knower. There's no solid, separate individual who knows this, that, and the other. And it's not needed. When you don't need knowledge, where is it? Like if I ask you your date of birth, boom, all of a sudden your birth date pops into your head. Where'd that come from? Where was it 10 seconds ago before I asked the question? But here there's just no knowing, but kind of what Cedric was saying, when I go to drive the car or you go to drive the car is just being driven. There's nobody separate thinking, oh, I gotta put this, clutch in or, shift here. And no, they're just getting in the car, checking the mirror, checking your hair, all the biz, and then pulling out and driving the car. Driving the car just happens. You ever been driving along and you're on the freeway driving, 50, and all of a sudden you're like lost in thought? And you're like, whoa, who the heck was driving the car?
Hmm.
Thank God. That's just this. Nkosi, welcome.
Hi, Michael.
We're
Hello,
talking.
everyone.
You'll be shocked. We're talking about just this.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, yeah, it's just this. Even talking about this, thinking that there's somewhere to get to, it's just this already. Blinking, bodily sensations happening, looking, not looking, you know, it's just this already. Thinking that there's somewhere to get to, there's something to get, it's already this. There's no separation. Yet what seems to be a thought of separation may seem to happen as well. That's not wrong or right. It's just what seems to be happening. And it's going nowhere. And there is already no one to know that there's just this. There's already no one separate from this to get this, to become this, or to get closer. There's just simply this. Whatever is arising, sitting on a chair, the room, the wind, birds chirping, cars hooting, smiling, getting frustrated, confused, feeling love, feeling spacious. Everything is this already. Silence, talking, talking simply happens, and listening simply happens. There's no one behind listening. There's no one behind talking. There's no one here who knows about this. There's just this. So this isn't talking to anybody because there's no one here. It is not it's not trying to spread a message, good news to anybody. It's just talking, smiling, trying, not trying, getting lost or not. Yeah, everything's this already. Yeah,
Beautiful.
it's what seems to be coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, confusion. There's already nobody to be confused. There's just confusion. Confusion is this too.
Even parts of this too.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't feel like I'm there yet, Nkosi. Yeah, that's it too.
Even thinking that keeping quiet is not okay. And that's this too.
Yeah,
There's no escape.
yeah. Words or no words. Chirps or no chirps. Bark or no bark. Story or no story, it's still this.
Is there a, when one knows it's just this, I'm saying it wrong, but if it's just this and one is, I'm going to say, aware of it, is there freedom there?
There is nobody who knows that it's just this. Even that which seems to be asking a question is already nobody. It's simply everything, just this. Even thinking that there's something missing, that's this too. There's really nowhere to get to. There's really nothing missing. There's really nobody to get to anyway. There's just this, simply this. There's already no critical thinker thinking. There's no thinker of thoughts. Thoughts are just happening for nobody, for nobody. Oh, what is can never be gotten. Just what is. Just what is. Just this. It's not somewhere out there.
So how come I want to turn that into an experience and then get it?
There's nobody who's turning anything. Yeah. There's just this. Even expressing as that. Expressing as a thinking that there's something to turn. Really, there's nobody to turn anything here. There's just simply what's happening. This asking a question. Not being clear, being clear, confused, not confused. Already no separate self. Yeah. There's already no doer. There's just this. Already no dawn, no Dan, no Michael, no Nkosi. Just this.
And the different labels and the different names don't change that it's just this. And the labels are it too.
Exactly. There's no wrong or right. Yeah. Even thinking that there's wrong or right, it's not wrong or right.
It's like in one moment, as I'm listening to you, I feel like I'm going crazy, literally. And then in the next moment, things are like pretty clear. It's like, and that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah, just this.
Yeah. And just
Yeah, there's such freedom in the word doesn't matter. Really. What does it matter? If you notice, say on the internet, the fighting is all about the words. No, you're not saying it the way I see it. So you're wrong and I'm right. That just happens innocently. Nobody's doing it already.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, Don, trying to get it is this too. Yeah.
It's not wrong or right.
Yeah. Beautiful. Any last comments or questions before we close out this evening? Thank you, everybody. Thanks to each and every one of you for coming. Nkosi, brother, thanks so much for stopping by. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Right.
Thanks.